Hi everybody, and welcome to Game 2 in this best of 3 between aTnClouD and Force, is what I'm going to call him, or Forte, rather, Fort. It's going to be for SC2Row.row. Have fun, good luck, everybody's saying. They are saying good luck, good luck. So I'm excited to see this, as we did see last game, it was on GSL's dual site, that the Cloud used the 1-1-1 all-in build, and it was quite powerful. Now we're going to see what he decides to do for in this second game on Xel'Naga Caverns. So he's going to be spawning in the top right. We do have Fort going to be spawning in the bottom left here. I'm excited to see what happens. Maybe this time we'll see some sort of macro style of play. Maybe this time we'll see Fort decide to do something a little bit more aggressive, as this map is definitely small as well. And small maps kind of tend to lend themselves to more cheesy styles of play because the cheese can get there in a quick amount of time, unlike a bigger thing. That's my phone going off, and I apologize. So we'll see what he decides to do. It looks like he is going to be sending a scout right away, just to see what's going on, maybe get some early information. But at this point, I'm not quite sure what kind of information he's going to be able to gather from any of this. So we are going to be seeing the typical wall off from Cloud. These beginning of the games, I gotta make this interesting, as they are both playing very standard right now. Nothing crazy coming out right now. If we did, then we would see something like a 6-pool, but between Protoss and Terrans, there are no such things as 6-pools, so you know crazy things can happen in the first 2 minutes of the game, unless they decide to do proxy racks or proxy gating, which at this point in the time, their SCVs and workers would only be just getting there. Probe is going to be in here doing a little bit of damage to some SCVs, not going to be doing too much else, just going to stick in here, doesn't want to leave quite yet, wants to make sure it can stay in here as long as possible. Maybe he'll attempt a gas steal, but doing a gas steal as a Protoss is a bit more risky just because it costs a lot more money, unlike for, say, a Zerg where you could just drop 25 minerals and your drone, and then you could cancel it before it finishes and get some of those minerals back. So gas stealing a lot less likely. We're going to see second barracks go down, and dropping a pylon here, maybe to not allow the reactor dropping, or some sort of add-on dropping, but as you can see, Cloud's just going to pick it up and move it. So is going to get that canceled, only spend 25 minerals on that, but still interesting idea to pylon block right there. Maybe thinking to force Cloud to move his barracks out of position and force him to build an add-on elsewhere, and maybe leave that wall open just a bit. But as you can see, can't really do anything. Can't take advantage of that wall. Can't take advantage of that open wall. None of that, because he's got a marine out. So I've never actually seen that before. Interesting tactic. Not quite sure if I'm a fan of it, but it looks like we're going to have a reactor go down on this one and a tech lab go down on this one. So Marine Marauder 2 racks, probably into an expansion build, and actually as I speak, there goes the command center. So going to be expanding right over as natural with the 2 racks, typical pressure and defense. Down here, as I got the hiccups, it does look like we have the warp gate going down, which we did not see. I'll say last time the warp gate, he kind of had one of his gateways sitting there for a little bit too long. As I hiccup into your face, I wish I had a drink. I think this is still good. If I start choking, guys, while I take a drink out of this and dying, call 911. Let him know Matt, the StarCraft 2 caster, is dying. They'll know who I am. Don't worry about it. So again, going to be dropping down. Looks like 3 gateways. Maybe a 3 gateway into expand. I don't see a 4th going down. They does have money for a 4th though. Stalker jumping right on out. Probably looking to do some sort of very early pressure. I apologize. That was a gateway. That was a robo facility going down. So 2 gate robo. Definitely wants to get some early pressures. Trying to turn the tables here just a little bit against Cloud, as last time Cloud did do the early pressure and won. So maybe this time he's expecting to do some sort of early pressure, as he did see the 2 barracks going down. 2 barracks and expand is very typical build. So knowing or assuming he's going to be doing that, maybe trying to get some very early pressure down. I'd be excited to see. We have another gateway going down, and so we're going to be 2 gate robo into 4 gate, so definitely looking to get some early pressure in. Double Immortals coming out, has cut probe production, so definitely going to be doing some very heavy early pressure. I'm curious to see how Cloud's going to be able to deal with this. Cloud just kind of scouting about with his SCV. We do have a probe being sneaky down here by the enemy base, dropping a proxy pylon for those reinforcements. Kind of an interesting position to drop one over here, maybe to get some flanking action if he decides to push out. Dropping a bunker at the top. Does he know what's coming? He has no idea. No idea it's on the way. Knows the typical build, but that's it. Did not drop a scan or anything like that. Why waste a scan? Then good for mules. So another pylon dropping over here. Looks like yes. The great place for it here. Curious why he has one here. We'll see. I guess we'll see why. And the bunker is going to house 2 marauders, so that way it is able to just take a few shots around this ledge. I like the placement here. Sometimes a lot of players like to put a little bit closer to the edge. I'm more in favor of dropping closer to the edge. Yeah, you get a little bit less vision here on the ramp on the corner, but dropping closer to the edge will allow to take pot shots, like I said, against the enemy army if they are pushing around the edge here or around here, and kind of get them in a position where they're a little bit more at a disadvantage. Granted, the observer can negate that with the vision of the high ground, but at this point, when he has 2 orbital commands, I'm sure he has enough energy for a scan or 2. It looks like he's going to have just enough energy, at least on one of them. So unless he decides to blow a lot of his energy on that on mules, which actually he just did, then he should have enough money for a scan. Energy for a scan. We are gonna. He looks like he's abandoning the factory, not really worrying about a mech build. It's gonna be purely a scouting factory. Moves at the speed of an overlord. I feel like nice and slow. And now we have the big push. 4 sentries, a small amount of zealot, a handful of stalkers, a small amount of zealots, and 2 immortals. So this could prove extremely good push. And another proxy pylon. Why are these proxy pylons everywhere, Fort? You only need maybe 2. I can understand 1 here. And 1 over there at the bottom, and now we're going to be doing a dual attack. I like that, dropping 4 zealots here, forcing him back while he does push the front just a bit, but those zealots are going to drop down very quickly. Great force fields preventing half the army from getting anywhere, and then cornering off a good chunk, going to be losing that. Cloud is going to be a small disadvantage here, definitely losing some of his troops here. A good chunk of his SCVs are going to be dropping down, but was able to maintain that wall just a bit. He did lower that, more or less saying, please come in, I don't want you to kill off my supply depots, and it does not look like that fort is going to accept that invitation. Just going to say, screw it, I'm going to take down the buildings anyway. And now we're going to be bouncing back and forth. Cloud was able to hold that off. It did scan and kill that observer, so no longer does he have vision of the high ground. Going to need another observer jumping over here soon if he wants to be able to use that that low ground advantage. But right now, he's at the disadvantage, not able to do too much. Granted, he still has both of his immortals. He's going to have a handful of zealots joining the army, but his stalker count is going to be low. He doesn't want to blow all of that gas quite yet on all of that. And now we're going to be pushing here. More force fields, just waiting for that energy from the sentries to push up top, cutting his army in half, but Cloud was able to work around it and hopefully kill off. There goes the sentry and a few of the zealots. So still holding tight. Hasn't really lost too much. If you think about it, just a supply depot and a bunker here. Still has all of his main buildings, a good chunk of his troops, has been able to hold this off, all the while still has a second command center up, so if he wants to take that natural when he feels safe, he can absolutely do so. And it looks like Fort is going to have to back off here. Fort, all the while, has yet to expand. It's just working off of the 4-gate robo push, and looks like he's not quite ready to give up on it yet. Going to be warping in a bunch over here, moving on around, and going to be going ready for our second round of pushing. And here it comes. Is he going to wait for the observer? I know he has an observer on here somewhere. Dropping a pylon over here. And what? Another pylon over here. Pylons everywhere for Fort. Really everywhere. Here comes the observer, dropping over here. Going to get some vision on the high ground, getting ready to help on the push. Is going to see that that's there, and I don't think that Cloud has the energy for a scan. He does not. Just short, just a little bit short. So he is going to be able to just attack from the low ground here. Zealots doesn't want to bring him too far up. It looks like that Cloud is going to be doing a pure Marine Marauder build with a bunch of obviously medevacs. As you can see, he has that reactor on that starport to make sure he can double up on the medevacs. Has an engineering bay, getting ready for those upgrades. Probably wanted to get those upgrades a little bit sooner, but unfortunately could not because Fort is doing such early pressure. And now is going to hopefully engage. Force fields trying to trap a few of them. Only got about 2 of them there. Did get some damage on the rest. More immortals on the way. It looks like Fort wants to end this. Has decided to take an expansion though. And it does look like he is going to see this, so knows the expansion is going down. Knows that this is probably the last of this push. If he can hold this off, he's going to be able to do just fine and maybe even expand himself. So we'll see how Cloud is able to manage through this all. And if he can hold this off, again, if he can't hold this off, it's pretty much game over for him. But if he can hold this off, he'll be in the game quite nicely. If we take a look at the army supply tab, we are looking at approximately same-sized armies. The food is a little bit in the favor of our Terran buddy here, and now he's going to be just getting ready to 1A this. He's going to pick up. I like that move with the force fields. Doesn't want to have to work around the force fields. He's just going to pick them up and drop them and then let them heal. And looks like he's going to go for that, drop that off anyway. and definitely going to push out for the expansion. Is going to see that they're no longer here. Going to continue macroing up his army. A lot of Marauders, which I like because of the Stalker, Immortal, heavy army composition that Fort has. And now Fort is going to be moving out, needs to defend his own. And what we have going on down here is a Dark Shrine. Interesting choice in tech switch. Very interesting choice in tech switch. The problem is now that he's expecting some sort of stealth play at this point. The reason he's expecting, well, for one, it's his good anti-observer measurements. So, two, knowing that it's expanding and wants to add something into his army mix at this point, Dark Templar, or should I say Dark Templar are a great choice against a heavy bio ball like this if the detection is not there. Dark Templar could shred through this army completely. But again, if he doesn't have the detection, as you can see, he is more than willing to drop that detection. And it looks like I just saw he is going to be dropping up Dark Templar up here, getting a couple of workers. How many workers has he killed? He's actually killed a total of 14 workers, not from these guys. We do only have a kill there, and a kill there, each going one kill. Going to lift off and try to get some repairs down. Want to stall as long as possible so we can get his army here and expect the scan any minute here. He had to drop that down first for the scan. There's the scan, killing 2 of them. And now is he going to be able to get the second one with the leftover scan, dropping a second scan just to be sure, and does kill them off. So not getting a lot of damage done with those Dark Templar. Curious to see what he's going to do. Has warped in 2 more on the way. This is I hope to God he doesn't have any more detection move, because that is a lot of Dark Templar. If he maybe just made 1 Dark Templar, it might have been worth it just to poke up to see if he had the detection, but unfortunately, the detection is there, and that kind of shuts down this Dark Templar play. Expect to see these guys get turned into Archons, as they're pretty much useless at this point. Really can't do much. It looks like he is gearing up to take his 3rd, and dropping a few more gateways. So now it's going to be sit back, try to macro up, and this is going to turn into a macro game very shortly. As Cloud is ready to move in on these guys, he is going to be making these Archons as I predicted. And like I said, Cloud is getting ready to move in. He's going to have a hell of a lot of an army. They're 0-1, so they have 1 attack. These guys are 0-0. So the upgrades are going to favor Cloud, but as always, Bio Ball is very squishy, and be curious to see how he's going to be able to do here. If he can at least make a dangerous push, then he'll be able to at least set him back a little bit, dropping the scan to see if there's where his army is, where the cloaked is. They're going to be dancing on this little hole in the center here. He doesn't want to get choked out too hard. The concave from this Protest army could be devastating. And again, he still has a gateway sitting here that is not quite a warp gate. He needs to make that a warp gate. There we go, dropping at the warp gate. And I like that, using the medevacs to get vision on the high ground, taking this out. This was upgrading Blink, shutting that down. Or was that? I believe that was what it was. Was getting an upgrade there nonetheless, and now I like that, and he's going to be elevating right into the enemy base. So if he can't get into the natural, he's just going to jump in there into the enemy base, shutting down the archives that were being dropped down there, and now going to be using the high ground of his enemy's main against his enemy, shutting down and killing off that Immortal. But now Dark Templar are going to be warping in here, and this will probably clean this up very quickly. Just basically going to do kind of an army trade here. In my opinion, worth it, as the army of Cloud is a lot cheaper and can be sacrificed for the kills of Immortals and Dark Templar and Archons. So definitely worth it. Losing a medevac there, going to kind of lift whatever he can and get out of there. There's a hell of a lot of medevacs, so why not? This is medevac crazy. Is he going to see the Dark Shrine? No! Just barely skirting on out, heading back to his main. Is going to get caught out of position here. Might even lose some troops. Is he going to be able to? Oh, I got a phone call. Nobody I want to talk to. Okay, so he's going to had to drop out of there because that medevac was going to be killed. It does look like Fort. I keep thinking his name is Force, but his name is Fort. Fort is actually grabbing a 3rd right in the bottom. And he can come right back here and regroup with the rest of his army. He has a good hunk of army here still. And again, since his ability to re-macro is cheap and it's quick with just Marines and Marauders, he's going to be able to have that army up very nicely and very quickly. Is going to see what's over here. Going to lose that Marines, going to explode into tiny little giblets from that attack. And maybe attempting to take out this gold just to prep for it, but this army, though small, is potent, and as you can see, he might even lose his command center because he definitely wants to take this. Whoa, losing control of my mouse. And is going to definitely encounter and force the encounter with this army, losing an Archon there. And he's going to have to get out of there. If he focuses down, that'd be so huge for Fort to shut down this command center. Is he going to get it? I don't think so. Is forced to get out of there. The detection for the Dark Templar was there, and unfortunately could not get it. It is burning, but there come all the SCVs in plenty of time to repair this sucker right back up and shut down any fires. And dropping a couple more barracks, it looks like, so going to build a bit of a bigger army. And, I feel like Fort, if he had to at least focus down that command center, he could have been in a better position. As you can see now, completely 100% fully repaired, and it can completely take down this gold now. Is he going to scan for that one? Yes, he is. Dead Dark Templar. He really is focusing on these Dark Templar, and with the detection, Dark Templar are just useless. Abandon that strategy at this point. It's nice for harassment purposes. Maybe keep 1 or 2 on the map at all times, but stop making them. They're useless at this point. There is detection on the field. You can't do anything about it. Move to something like High Templar, as it looks like he's actually doing with those archives up there. A High Templar would be so devastating against a Bio Ball. If you had the High Templar so much earlier, instead of going, I hope this Dark Templar thing works, this Bio Ball would be significantly smaller. And if not destroyed, he would maybe even force a tech switch from Cloud as it is, and I think he would be in a better position. But the folly of thinking of maybe not just the highest league of pro players, of just you still fall for that, and mentally you still fall for the, well, if I keep pushing with this awesome unit, I can do some damage. If I keep pushing, he'll fall apart. If I keep pushing, he'll fall apart, and it's not going to happen. Once they have detection, once something like Dark Templar, which are so fragile and did I say fragile? Are so fragile and are so circumstantial to the situation, and like Terrans or even Zergs can get that detection up, they're more or less rendered useless. Great, again, good to have them in the army mix, maybe 1 or 2, but stop pushing out with them when they're just individually there. They're not worth losing. They're so expensive. So as we're going to see now, we're going to have another huge encounter. This encounter could really determine how the rest of the game is going to flow, and it does look like Fort wants to fight here. Not going to stop, not going to pull back, going to allow his zealots to get kited a bit. And there go a bunch of zealots there, not really for any deaths at all. And going to picking off a few more zealots too. And nope, he's going to let that one get away. But the losses definitely favored Cloud there. Was able to hold off, and this observer is going to keep an eye on it, but the gold is up. Knows that he has this. I do believe that he has this third. If we take a look at our player cam, yep, knows that he has it. That was when the factory was still floating around. Knows that he has that, so he's going to he's in a good spot right now just because the gold is a better third to have, and actually dropping down another command center, it looks like, right here, getting ready to take his fourth. So Cloud is looking quite good. The power of the Marine Marauder Ball, those units are so good through the entire game. As long as they're played correctly against the right strategies. If, say, Fort decided to do something like High Templar with a little bit of mixture of air, maybe do some Void Ray mixture into this, the amount of Marines he has compared to Marauders might actually favor a Void Ray play. But he's so invested right now, it looks like, into taking that, into tattooing just Archons and Immortals that I don't know if this is going to help him. I feel like Fort is a one-minded kind of guy. Again, I've never seen any of his replays, so I know nothing about the type of style he likes. But he seems so single-minded, so one way, that if this is the way I want to play this game, and if he does something that's going to completely shut me down, then I'm not going to change. I'm not going to tech switch. I'm just going to keep doing it. And he's at least proving that that's the way he looks like he thinks. And here we go, another large encounter coming up here. Hell of a lot of Archons, a lot of Immortals. We're curious. There's a scan just to see what's up there that's going to reveal all the Dark Templar. As you can see, they're going to be dropping very quickly as Dark Templar is so squishy. And this is definitely going the way of Cloud. Going to split his army up just a bit just because those High Templar are there. Knows that those storms are coming in. Actually, those storms were good storms. I liked that. Oh, but I hear ghosts in the mix. We do have a Ghost Academy somewhere on the map. Those ghosts are going to be hella useful. Completely EMPing the shields, maybe destroying them, and that's going to be another Archon gone. There goes a High Templar, dead. And now ghosts are going to completely change the situation here with EMPs to shut down High Templar and shields against the Immortals. Cloud is looking mighty fine, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know how these encounters keep going in the way of Cloud, and if they keep doing that, then I just don't see how he's going to be able to hold up against this. So this looks like he's going to just dive bomb for that gold, attempt to take that out and do some damage. That is a desperation move there. Did get some damage done, but it looks like Cloud was able to pull out a good chunk of his SCVs at the very least before that was done. Sorry, that was my phone going off and telling me about the New England Patriots are down by a touchdown. No! No, everybody! But I'm not a sports commentator. I'm StarCraft, which is a better sport. It is an e-sport. So, Cloud taking his 4th in really good positioning right now. Actually, it looks like Fort actually has his gold up and running as well. I'm curious how this is going to go. This game is kind of very bouncy back and forth. I think there's just a lot of bad decisions being made by Fort, which is making the game... I don't want to know interesting. It's. I think if Fort had just made some different decisions, he'd be in a better position right now. It could be that the first game, that 1-1 all-in, could have just really, really messed with him psychologically, and he could be a bit frustrated from that, which does happen. Getting that momentum can mean the difference between winning and losing a series. That whole mental status, the momentum shift, the playing tilted on Fort's end could really have destroyed him. It does look like we're going to have the Storm coming down, and good EMP. That Storm didn't do as much damage as nearly as he wanted it to, and now he's going to have to pull this guy back and make him an Archon if he wants him to be useful. And we do have a gigantic flood of Zealots and Dark Templar. The problem is they have detection, so he's going to see them. Is he going to turn around to fight it back, or is he just going to lift? Looks like... Oh, he should be going... Fort. Should have taken out the missile turret, as the planetary fortress is going to take. As you can see, he actually had him focus fired. Yep, it's too late now. Should have focused that down so much earlier. He saw it was there. Fort, what are you doing? I'm actually frustrated watching him because if he's taking out missile turret first, the Dark Templar could have done a hell of a lot more damage. He would have forced at least a scan, the energy of a scan to go down. Now we're going to see, great EMPs being dropped by Cloud, killing off the shields of all of them, making those Archons useless. The Ghost Mixture is phenomenal. He's using them quite well, and he actually turned this battle against his opponent. There go 2 more EMPs. Immortal's going to be wiped down. Got to back out of all of those storms. I'm sorry, I was like choking there. And now moving in to just kill. This army is now essentially no more. Going to take out the gold. More Dark Templar are going to try and save it, but not before the gold is completely taken out. And he's going to be moving straight down to the 3rd of our friend Fort. And is he going to be able to stop this? Abandoning, saying, no, I can't. I can't stop this. There goes the 3rd. Cloud looking much, much better every second of the way. Going to pick off any free pylons he has. And now move on out. Is he going to retreat and regroup with the rest of his huge army? Or is he just going to move? He looks like he's going to be scouting around here and picking off the rest of whatever buildings may be lying around. Here come a couple of Dark Templar. Dark Templar are going to be picking off whoever they can. And there is the EMP. Doesn't need detection anymore. The EMP is going to take him out, essentially. And that is a mobile detection for you on the Terran front, and it looks like he's going to attempt to get this going back again, and I question this because of how many minerals it takes, but honestly, maybe he just doesn't have a choice. His main is completely mined out, his natural is essentially mined out, really needs to take this gold, absolutely has no choice. If he does not get an expansion up and running very, very shortly, then he's screwed, and he is going to long distance mine. He doesn't have a choice. He needs to do any mining he can, and as you can see, it looks like our Protoss is running low in the bank right now, while our Terran here, our Terran hero, is doing just fine. If I don't see him losing this at this point. The Protoss is hanging on barely, just barely, and if he can get this gold up and running, then maybe. But the long distance mining, the time it takes for our Nexus to go down, I just don't see it going, and it looks like he is going to swing back here and just try to shut it down again. There's the cancel, at least taking back 300 of those minerals, give him maybe some more Zealots to warp in to try and fight this army back. But at this point, he has to know that he's basically fighting a lost cause. Throwing his probes, as you can see, this is the desperation move. Probes, High Templars for that storm, but the EMP's shutting him all down, and all these probes just being killed off. His minerals are pretty much gone. Zealot's going to be shut down. Just there goes everything, and yeah, that's going to be game right there. I don't see him winning this at all. Moving straight into the main, drops another scan, has a scan to spare at this point, and say goodbye to your base for it. You just it was a good game. Unfortunately, I just don't see you winning it anymore. It just doesn't happen. You are pretty much lost. So that's that. he's just got to be frustrated from such a rough loss in the beginning, then maybe just completely frustrated him all the way through. And there he is saying, I think, is Imba GG and quitting, so BMing, just frustrated all the way through. Honestly, I don't think it was Imba. The first game, the 1-on-1 could be considered Imba. The 1-on-1 is very difficult to deal with, but it's not impossible, as shown by pros. The second game, I just think it was lots of bad choices on Fort's led to his downfall. But again, those are my opinions. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Feel free to subscribe if you have not. Just click on my little nameplate. Check out my other casts. Enjoy it. I've got some other random games up on my channel as well. I will see you guys next cast. This is Mathis StarCraft signing on out.